With all the drama surrounding Jake Paul and the Team 10 house, it looks like they're finally moving into a new home. Guys, make sure you stick around to the end of the video so you get all the details on this entire situation. But before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know, at the top of the comments, we pin an Amazon gift card on every single video. All you got to do is make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so you have a really good shot at being one of the first people to the video to get that Amazon gift card. That's all you guys got to do. And guys, let's see if we can hit 3 likes on today's video. I know that is a pretty crazy like goal, but I believe in you guys. Make sure you smash that freaking like button. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. The past couple of weeks, there has been a ton of drama surrounding the Team 10 house, from the neighbors threatening to sue Jake Paul to getting swatted, and even YouTube pranksters camping outside the house to pull pranks. It seems like the Team 10 house just can't escape the drama that's surrounding it, and Jake Paul is finally looking into getting a new home, but we'll get into that in just a minute. First, I want to take a look at how all of this started with the neighbor situation, all the new developments with the Team 10 house, and then we will get into the new Team 10 house. First, let's take a look at the news report that started all of this drama. So in this news report, they start off by showing like a montage of some of the stuff that Jake Paul has done, and they bring up the fact that it's very easy to find Jake Paul's house, and that could actually be a big source of the problem.
He apparently makes his address no secret, and that piece of information draws an endless stream of fans, mostly young girls, the day we visited, and their parents, to the property.
So when you search the Team 10 house on Google, it comes up with the address immediately. It's super easy to find. And Jake has never really tried to hide where he lives, has always been public, but with his popularity skyrocketing over the last few months, it looks like this has caused swarms of fans to go to their house every day. And this has been a big part of the neighbors' issue. Since there's always 25 to 50 people hanging out on the streets, if not more than that, it can make getting around very difficult, not to mention that, it's really loud all the time with that many fans around. But unfortunately for Jake, there isn't really much he can do about that anymore. He recently hired some security guards to try and keep people away, but once your address is public, there isn't really any way to reverse that. But it seems like the biggest issue with the neighbors is some of the stunts that he's pulled, for the vlogs and stuff like that, and around the house, like burning furniture in a fire pit. This is where we get to hear from the neighbors directly and see why they're planning on suing Jake if this doesn't stop.
We used to be a really nice, quiet street, and now we're just this like war zone. We're families here, and we're more than happy to have them live here if they're respectful of their neighbors, but they're not.
But as neighbors living with this every day, we're fed up.
So as you guys just heard from 2 different neighbors, they feel like Jake Paul is disrespectful, they're fed up, they feel like, where they used to live was peaceful, but it's not like that anymore, and they feel like they're living in a war zone. And after the news reporter talked to the neighbors, Jake came outside, he jumped on top of the news van, and then he gave an interview kind of giving his side, but the reporter also speaks on how the neighbors are feeling a little bit, saying that Jake Paul has created a living hell, and this is how Jake responds.
They say that you've created a living hell out here, that it's like a circus.
Yeah, it is.
All the fans.
I mean, but
the
people like
stunts,
going to circuses, right?
What do you say to the neighbors, though, that are upset? Then they're really upset.
No, I
You
honestly,
can't beat them, join them.
no, I'm honestly, yeah, it's terrible. It's a bad situation. No, I feel bad for them, for sure. There's nothing we could do, though. The Jake Paulers are the strongest army out there. Dab.
So Jake said that he does feel bad about the situation, but like I said, there isn't really anything he can do at this point. His address is already public, so his only option at this point is to just, move somewhere else and try to keep it a secret if that's even possible. But this is not the only platform that Jake decided to respond on. This news report actually came out on Monday, and Jake took to Twitter posting a clip of the news interview and wrote, "@neighbors, you won't do it," pretty much daring his neighbors to sue him at this point. But after the story broke the other day, Jake Paul started firing off some more tweets and even retweeting some fans. So he started off saying, "Don't conform to society." Then he realized the whole story was trending, and he tweeted out, "LOL is trending." He retweeted a few fans. One of them said there's 8.5 million people in the world who would do anything to live next to the Team 10 house. Another one said, "We are savages, we're lit, we're powerful, we prank people, we love Team 10, we love Bizarrevark, we are Jake Paulers." Then he retweeted one more person saying, "He ain't gonna listen to nobody, he's still gonna flip and send it, dude." And then his next tweet, he said, "I'm still gonna send it." And then late last night, he fired off one more tweet saying, "Crazy how so many people care about me being a bad neighbor, bigger fish to fry, innocent people are getting shot every day, you should worry about that." So Jake feels like people shouldn't be worrying about him being a bad neighbor, when there's people dying and all sorts of crazy stuff going on out there in the world that should just, be handled first. And then we also got a tweet from the legend Nick Crompton retweeting the story story where it said LA residents say Jake Paul is making their street a living hell. Nick Crompton said hell is pretty lit from where I'm standing. But Twitter is not the only place that Jake Paul decided to respond. There is a channel on YouTube called The Hollywood Fix that goes around, they interview celebrities kind of like TMZ, and they went over to the Team 10 house to get Jake's reaction on the entire situation. But first they talked to Erica as she was going into the house, and this is what she had to say about everything.
Saying it's like a war zone out here?
Yeah, that's a little dramatic, but we do understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are, that is crazy.
Pretty lit from the inside, though.
Yeah, I mean, they said it's like a war zone out here, and like it's like fires and stuff catching on fire and all that.
We have really good special effects out there in the back.
I don't see any fires, so that's crazy.
No, but honestly, we did apologize to the neighbors. We said sorry, and we're gonna try to keep everything down as much as we can.
So Erica actually gets some pretty valuable information here. She does feel like the neighbors are being a little bit over dramatic, but she understands where they're coming from. She said that they also apologized to the neighbors. It looks like they're going to try and do what they can to fix the situation. And as for the fire pit, they're claiming that it was all special effects, probably to try to keep them from getting in more trouble. Or maybe it was special effects, who knows. But the Hollywood Fix also caught up with Jake Paul in this video, and honestly, he didn't really have too much to say, but he did have a special news anchor there to answer questions for him.
We have an official news anchor.
Sir, they say that this neighborhood is a war zone. Do you feel that this neighborhood is a war zone? No? Do you think that Jake is a nice guy, or do you think that he's giving the neighbors problems?
He's good.
He's good? He's a good guy?
So this is just a cute little clip of this kid saying that Jake is a good guy. And like I said, Jake didn't really have anything to say after that. He just went back inside the house. But if you guys didn't notice, in this video, there is a security guard at the gate, like I mentioned earlier, trying to keep people away. So it does look like they're, trying to do what they can at this point, to keep things as calm as possible. But I'm not sure how much they can really do. But this entire situation has been going on for months. If you guys remember, back on May 12th, Jake recorded a vlog titled I'm Done Vlogging, and he made this video because guess what? His neighbors were threatening to sue him. So this whole situation really started back in May, and it's just been building up to this point that we're at now. His neighbors sent him a letter basically telling him if he didn't stop filming and doing crazy stuff at the property, they were going to sue him. So this is where it all began, and it's pretty crazy that it's still going on, but I guess we probably should have seen this coming. They did threaten to sue him months ago, and I guess now it's just actually beginning to happen, because of course Jake is not going to stop vlogging. Obviously he's getting almost 500 million views a month right now, so I don't think he cares what anyone has to say. He's not going to stop vlogging no matter what. But in this letter we also get a list of things that Jake Paul has done that's bringing them to this lawsuit. So this is what the neighbors are saying has been a public nuisance to them. Basically they said they've been doing things such as putting trampolines on the roof, bringing a live kangaroo into the house, setting up a kissing booth outside the house with swarms of fans, dropping watermelons from the roof, throwing footballs from the roof, and of course, the fire pit that we talked about earlier in the video that may or may not have been special effects. So all that, along with fans constantly being outside the house, is why the neighbors are planning on suing Jake Paul. But we're gonna have to wait and see if that actually happens. Because at the end of the news report that I showed you guys clips from earlier in the video, the reporter says that next week the neighbors are meeting with city leaders, police officers, and code enforcement officials, and depending on what happens in that meeting, they will decide whether to file that lawsuit or not. And it looks like the neighbors might be doing just that. There was actually an update to the story where the neighbors did meet with city council, and I guess the public nuisance lawsuit is on the table. We don't really have a ton of information about it, but it looks like something could be happening with that. But the lawsuit isn't the only issue that Jake Paul and the Team 10 house has been running into. They've also been getting swatted almost daily since this news report. They've even been swatted multiple times a day, so that's just been insane. But there's also been YouTube pranksters setting up outside the house trying to pull pranks on Team 10. So with all of this insanity going on, it comes as no surprise that Jake Paul is looking for a new Team 10 house. He actually went on to Drama Alert today for an interview, and in this interview he said they're already working on moving out of the Team 10 house, and it should be done within the next 3 weeks. So it looks like Jake Paul is actually going to be moving out of the Team 10 house into a new Team 10 house very soon. And of course this picture isn't the official picture of the new Team 10 house, but this is something that I could imagine them moving into. Team 10 is making tons of money right now. They're pulling in the most views on YouTube. It's honestly insane. And I'm sure we'll see them moving into some, very extravagant home, similar to, like what Rice Gum and his squad lives in. They have a mansion type home with like 4 floors, an elevator, just tons of crazy stuff. I'm still mad that my apartment apartment doesn't have an elevator. I'm getting cheated here. And then you have FaZe Rogue, who also moved into like a massive mansion. So I'm sure Team 10 is going to do something very similar to that. They're probably going to move into just a crazy mansion. It's going to be huge, just something you can't even imagine. That's why I put this picture up here so you guys can kind of get an idea of something that they might move into. And I'm excited to see what kind of home they get. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as they move and after they move, what kind of house they will move into. And I'm sure you guys are excited as well. Let me know in the comments, you know, what kind of house do you think Team 10 should move into? Should they get, you know, a huge mansion, just a normal home? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. But that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. It's been Extract Hub. I will catch you guys later. Peace out.